Hello. This is nice and stark, isn't it? Kind of devoid of all personality. There are those that argue, so am I. It's too weathery outside today to do an outside video, so I'm doing an inside video with my white sheet. Me and my best friend white sheet. It's actually a white fabric scrap. This is not bedding. Not that it matters. I made a dress out of bedding like 2 weeks ago. Speaking of dresses that I've made out of bedding, this isn't out of bedding, but I did make a dress, and that's what I'm going to talk to you today about. I was going to do a work in progress Wednesday, but the supplies for the thing that I wanted to have in progress for today have not arrived. So I can't talk about it. It's a secret until I get the supplies, because otherwise it's just me talking about it. So instead I'm going to talk about this dress. This is the Venice Dress. I'll get some long shots and I'll put them sort of here-ish, which means that there's now two of me, worrying. But it is made out of a mystery bag of fabric. So, to backtrack, start at the start, that's the one. To start at the start, there's an op shop in Queensland. I'm sure there's several op shops in Queensland, but there is one in particular called the Sewing Lair, and they sell sewing stuff and craft stuff. So they have fabric patterns, books, embroidery, cottons, all sorts. Anything that you can use in a creative way, they are selling it to raise money for a charity called Sewing for Charity. Sewing for Charity does sewing for charities. It's these obscure names that, you know, you have to really decode. But anyway, that's all fine and good. But they had a mystery bag of 5 kilograms of non-stretch knit fabric for $10. And I absolutely, yes, needed to have that. So the idea was to make a dress out of whatever fabrics were in that bag. And I found some great big pieces of fabric, which was exciting. I went for the Venice Dress by Style Arc again, because I made one last year. Or the year before, no, last year I think, out of old t-shirts, so that worked really well, and I knew that I could patchwork if I had to get the right size pieces, but for the most part I had enough fabric in all of the 3 colours that I ended up using. The dark blue of the bodice was chosen because that was as much fabric as I had in that dark blue. I didn't have enough of that dark blue to do any of the skirt pieces, so once I had that bodice piece chosen, it was really obvious to me to do the medium blue and then the aqua teal or whatever colour you want to call that at the bottom. The sleeves were for a short period of time going to be spotty because I thought that might look quite interesting, a little bit 80s but perhaps quite interesting. But I didn't have quite enough fabric to do 2 sleeves, so I thought, well, I've got enough fabric of the other colours that I don't need to worry about adjusting the sleeve pattern to fit this fabric. So I just went with the 2 colours that I had the most fabric of. But yes, I'm very excited to have another Venice dress. I'll put a link in the description to the pattern if you want to make your own. It's a knit fabric dress for the drape. This doesn't hang quite as well as the other one, I think, because my middle piece of fabric is quite thick compared to the other 2 pieces of fabric, but it's fine. I don't feel like anyone's going to be looking closely enough to go, your fabric is not draping correctly for that dress. And if they do have a problem with how my fabric drapes, well, they can just jog on, because I don't care. I'm very thick-skinned, I'm not. But anyway, so yes, this was going to be a work in progress Wednesday, but I haven't got anything in progress that's worth showing you. So instead it's just about my new dress that I made that I'm really happy with. I hope you'll give it a go. I love the diagonal shapes in it. That was almost a review. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a nice time looking at me and my dress. I had a nice time showing you my dress. I've had a nice time. I've had a nice time in my white void. I will see you next week with something else, maybe a work in progress. We will hope. If my supplies arrive, there will be a work in progress, and that'll be very exciting for all of us. You take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week.